This game will teach you how to become a real actor step by step. To make a long story short, you need to punch your way through. Worked for Shia LaBeouf. Araknie, and we suddenly come back to the Game Boy with a short title that has a long name. Tiny Toon Adventures, Bob's Big Break. Ah, the joy of corporations and obligatory branding, said nobody ever. In this game, Buzz Bunny wants to become a movie star or theater kid, I don't know. The Tiny Toons think that if you go to watch a movie you can enter one. I'm not understanding anything. But these loony bastards have always been totally incomprehensible, so that tracks. Montalmax wants to buy the theater so nobody can be a movie star anymore and make a mall there instead. This is a bit too real. Didn't expect this gut punch of real world issues like this. Thank you. Now I really feel worse. The gameplay is a bit more involved than the usual stuff you find on the brick. The stages are a bit open to explore, but lots of dead ends. The way forward at the end is only one, but you'll get the chance to explore 3 different floors on each of the 4 stages. It might seem like a short game, but this is a purely portable title. It doesn't even have a password system, so it's fine that it ends in less than 2 hours. It's a very different game from the usual, since even control-wise there's something new to do. You can kill enemies by jumping on them or by throwing a fruit at them. I don't say a specific one because you get to choose between 3 characters. Remember that you have a limited amount of them and you can find them by jumping on crates. Konami hated Mario that day and decided to make everything harder for everybody. It's a bit clunky, but you'll get used to it. To change them, just press start and then choose one of them. You can do that anytime you want and it's immediate. No need for an SSD. Buster Bunny will throw a carrot in an arc. You can make it go higher if you perform a big jump. Lucky Duck will make use of a pineapple that also normal people call ananas. It's a bouncy boy, this one, so good when you're surrounded. Tom Pig throws a watermelon a bit like a bowling ball. Funny to see, but really the most useless one. The stages also are like this because there's one hidden toon you need to find to progress and a bunch of other extras. Basically each level has one obstacle that only one of them can solve. It's not that hard to do. Once you find them, you bring them to the only known dead place and they do their job automatically. I got excited when I got an extra heart, but it's temporary. As soon as you die, you're back to having just 2. As we all know, that means you can only take 1 hit. It's not only that hard, but this game has a big problem. It could have been a little gem, but not like this. You slip around. Constantly. You cannot ever once land solidly on anything. Since the game is in black and white, you might think you're on ice with physics like this, but it's not supposed to be. This is grass or tarmac. There's not even an ice level. This is a major bummer because even if this floaty jump helps you since there are many big enemies and you benefit from the added time, you don't really get the benefit of sitting still, making the use of the fruits you can throw just situational. Having an item like that and not being able to use it in movement is also greatly limiting. This to explain all that could have been repercussions from a simple addition like a 5-step slide that you can't stop, unlike in Mario 3 for example, with a simple press of the opposite D-pad direction. It's tap 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 and you might overly correct yourself. No, that's what I'll say instead. It's not a deal breaker, but it removed too many options from me. Bob's Big Break could have been an instant classic and why not bet this much less. Konami puts their usual flair in this too, that's why it stings a bit more this time. The exploration is fun not only for all the other reasons, but also because you can find their patented minigames. There's a one-hammer one, nothing impressive. I have already seen it in many different forms, this ain't it. But then you'll get your worst terror, the race against the Toons. It's a button basher, harshest one I've ever played. There's 3 different opponents you can try, but you'll win against the first one and that's about that. The other 2 will try the resistance of your finger tendons. Don't overdo it. Bosses are also great in perfectly fitting fashion. You have to fit some food in the mouth of the son of Taz. Just throwing this out there in case you needed a new sentence. Some normal jump on guy ones to not make a bad use of that incredible airtime. And also a silly goober that throws every single piece of a wall at you and the ceiling drops on him, kill him instantly. He died the same way he was born. On the floor. Graphically seriously more in-depth than I was gonna imagine. It being a licensed game and all, nice backgrounds and I like that they change depending on the upper or lower part of the board. Nice backgrounds and I like that they change depending on the upper or lower part of the board. gives it that feeling of great scope that is nicely reflected in the length. Only 4 levels, but really big, so they needed it. Almost all enemies are something from Tiny Toons, so it feels pretty in the soap. I expected and wanted the theme song from the show, but I didn't expect it to be the main gameplay tune from when you're just outdoors. It's the title theme for a reason, because it's not the background music. It's too bombastic, doesn't fit, you're gonna listen to it for half of it. When background music overpowers the sound effects, it's always a miss for me. That's why I've been falling out of love with certain titles, especially ones with complete commercially released soundtracks. Need for Speed, GTA, basically all sports games. Listening to some country song while I have the most epic escapade against the peas in the game doesn't fit for me. If it had a soundtrack similar to the chase in the first Terminator movie, now that would be fun. Be bombastic but do it orchestrally. Basically, hearing Flight of the Bumblebee is just distracting. But let's conclude, Tiny Toon Adventures Bub's Big Break gets a 7 out of 10. It's good but it works against itself. There's so much personality here and most people will never notice it. That's a pity. If you wanna see me play the games that I will review plus some extra stuff, catch me on Twitch at Araknie Retro. It's my natural habitat, you see? Until next time, ciao ciao!